We're looking at Optimus, and it's not just some far-off fantasy.
It's really not. We've got expert predictions, tech breakdowns, the whole 9 yards, and it paints a pretty wild picture of the future.
Okay, so let's get into it.
Optimists in our homes, like seriously, Optimists making your morning coffee not on some factory floor, but in your kitchen.
Yeah, it's interesting how the conversation is shifting. Initially, everyone was focused on Optimus revolutionizing industries, and don't get me wrong, that's still a huge part of it. But Tesla's definitely hinting at a much bigger picture here, bringing Optimus to everyday consumers, like you and me. When we talk about Optimus as a robot butler, what does that actually mean? What's it supposed to do it?
Well, at its core, we're talking about a machine that can handle everyday household tasks. Cleaning, tidying up, you name it.
Okay, so like a supercharged Roomba, but with, like, cooking skills. Sign me up for that.
It's way more advanced than that. What has experts really buzzing is Optimus's capacity for learning. This isn't about pre-programmed actions. It's about a robot that can actually learn and adapt to its environment.
Wait, hold on. Adapt. How does that work? Is it like thinking for itself?
Well, thinking might not be the right word, but the technology is designed to mimic the way humans learn. It can process information, recognize patterns.
So give me an example. How would that play out in a real-world scenario, like let's say in the kitchen?
Sure, imagine you feed Optimus a database of recipes. Over time, it could start to improvise based on what ingredients are available, adjust cooking times based on your preferences. That's the idea. And it's not just about following instructions. The sources suggest Optimus could even invent new dishes based on your tastes. Talk about a personal chef.
Okay, that's seriously impressive. But what about tasks that require, actual finesse? The sources mentioned Optimus being able to handle delicate objects. How's that even possible?
It all comes down to the hands. Optimus is being designed with 22 degrees of freedom in its hands. To put that into perspective, that's more dexterity than a human hand.
Really? More than US? I mean, we can do some pretty amazing things with our hands.
Exactly. Think about the precision it takes to thread a needle or play a complex piece on the piano. Optimus is being designed to replicate that same level of fine motor control.
Wow. I never thought about it like that. So we've got a robot that can cook, clean, and even handle delicate tasks. But it gets even wilder, right? The sources also hinted at Optimus going way beyond those basic butler duties. There was talk of homework help, even being a companion for aging parents.
Absolutely. And that's where things get really interesting and a little complex.
Right, because we're not just talking about convenience anymore.
Right.
We're talking about robots potentially playing a role in education, elder care, even shaping family dynamics.
Exactly. Imagine a future where Optimus could assist an elderly parent with medication reminders, help them stay active, even offer companionship. That could be a game changer for seniors who want to maintain their independence and for families grappling with caregiving responsibilities.
It makes you think about the potential impact not just on individual households, but on society as a whole. But before we get too carried away, let's address the elephant in the room. How realistic is all of this? Can we really expect a robot to handle the chaos and unpredictability of, well, life?
That's the million-dollar question. While the sources we've looked at are optimistic, they're also grounded in reality. This level of sophisticated AI is still in its early stages. What we're reading about now is largely theoretical.
So it's more about potential than actual everyday reality, at least for now.
Exactly. There are bound to be challenges in translating these impressive capabilities into real-world situations. Think about it. A robot can be programmed to follow a recipe, but what happens when the unexpected occurs? A child runs into the kitchen while it's carrying a pot of boiling water. A sudden storm knocks out the power.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Those are the kinds of curveballs life throws at you that you don't really think about until they happen.
Precisely. Human intuition and adaptability are incredibly difficult to replicate in AI. We can react to unexpected events, factor in social cues, make split-second decisions based on a complex web of information.
It's that gap between impressive technical capability and true understanding that's so crucial, isn't it?
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to have these conversations, NW, even while this technology is still being developed. We need to be thinking critically, ethically, about how we integrate these advancements.
So while the dream of having a robot butler like Optimus might still be a little way off, it's definitely worth thinking about.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk timelines, because honestly, who doesn't want a robot that can fold laundry like yesterday? When can I actually expect to see Optimus on the market?
Well, don't get too excited just yet. Tesla's taking a phased approach with this rollout.
So like a beta test, making sure Optimus can handle the real world before it ends up in our living rooms.
Exactly. If all goes well, external sales could start towards the end of 2025. But when we're talking mass production, widespread availability, that's probably more like 2026.
A bit of a wait, but there is something about a rental program, right? Like a trial run before taking the plunge.
Well, you're right. They are planning on a rental program before they officially launch sales.
Hmm.
Smart move, right?
That's right.
Let people get a taste of what it's like to have an Optimus around, work out any kinks, all that.
Definitely a good way to build some buzz. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, the price tag. $20,000? I mean, that's not exactly pocket change for most people.
Yeah, no, it's a significant investment for sure. But here's the thing that has people talking Optimus's projected lifespan. We're talking a good 20 years. This isn't some flimsy piece of tech that's going to crap out on you in a couple of years.
Okay, now that's impressive.
Think about it. Robots like Atlas, Unity H1, they're looking at, what, 5, maybe 10 years at best? But Optimus, if it delivers on its promise, this is a long-term investment. And potentially, it could even replace some of those recurring costs we're all used to, repairs, cleaning services, things like that.
One thing that really struck me while going through these videos is how Optimus actually, moves. It's not some clunky, awkward machine. This is a 5'10", 138-pound robot designed to move around our
That's
homes.
pretty wild, right?
I know, almost like having another person in the house, except, it's a robot.
Well, and that's exactly what Tesla's going for. They want Optimus to integrate seamlessly into our homes, moving quietly, safely, no weird robot noises in the middle of the night.
And get this thing is supposed to learn by watching videos. Like, we're talking showing Optimus how to make your grandma's secret recipe lasagna just by playing a YouTube tutorial. Seriously.
That's the claim. On a technical level, it comes down to how advanced their AI is, especially in areas like imitation learning, reinforcement learning, that sort of thing. So the robot would process that visual data, pick up on patterns, and then try to replicate the actions it sees.
Right, but how well that actually translates from, theory to a perfectly cooked lasagna, that's the big question.
Exactly.
Don't throw out your cookbooks just yet. But still, the possibilities. And speaking of possibilities, can we talk about Optimus's hands for a second? 22 degrees of freedom. That's more dexterity than we have. Some of these videos you sent showed it handling eggs, threading needles.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty incredible.
One even had it playing the piano.
The dexterity of those hands really is remarkable. With those 22 degrees of freedom, it surpasses any other robotic hand out there right now. And that opens up a whole world of possibilities for what robots can actually do in our homes. Think about it. How many chores, how many tasks just around the house require those really fine hand movements?
Right.
Folding laundry, doing the dishes, prepping food.
Okay, now I'm just picturing Optimus meticulously organizing my sock drawer while humming Beethoven or something.
Well, let's not get too carried away just yet. There are still some limitations.
Yeah, like what could possibly go wrong with my robot butler?
Well, for one, battery life. Tesla claims a 20-hour battery life, but realistically,
Yeah.
when you've got this thing moving around all day using those intricate hand movements, it's probably going to need to recharge a couple times a day.
Yes. Battery life, the Achilles heel of even the most futuristic tech.
Pretty much. So maybe not quite ready to completely take over just yet,
Yeah.
but it's definitely clear that Tesla's pushing the boundaries of what's possible with robotics.
Okay, so we've talked chores, right? But some of these sources paint a much bigger picture for Optimus.
Right.
Education, elder care, robots stepping into some pretty, sensitive roles. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little freaked out by it, but also kind of amazed.
Yeah. No, it's definitely uncharted territory.
Yeah.
But let's start with education.
Okay.
Imagine Optimus, not just a robot, but like a personalized tutor. A tutor that adapts to how your kid learns, gives them instant feedback, maybe even makes the whole learning process more like a game.
Okay, yeah.
Some articles even talked about customizing the robot's voice, its personality, that kind of thing.
Wow.
So it's not just some faceless machine. It could be like the kid's best study buddy.
Okay, the kid in me who always wanted a robot best friend is freaking out a little right now. But seriously, that's incredible. But it also makes you think, right? How does that change the relationship between, say, teachers and students, parents and kids?
It's a big question. Technology like this, it doesn't just exist in a bubble. It forces us to really rethink those traditional roles, those relationships that we're used to. Take elder care, for instance. Imagine Optimus providing companionship to seniors, especially those who might be feeling isolated, maybe even helping out with certain physical tasks medication reminders.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge, especially these days when so many people are struggling to find good care for their aging parents.
Absolutely. And that's what I think makes this so fascinating, so thought-provoking. We're talking about technology that could alleviate some very real burdens and anxieties that people face every single day.
It's a lot to wrap your head around. But I think that's the perfect place to leave this deep dive, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
More questions than answers, but what an exciting thought.
What's really striking to me is how quickly we've gone from can we build this to how will this change everything? Like the technology is advancing so rapidly, and it's forcing us to ask some really tough questions about like the kind of future we're creating.
It pushes us to ask those bigger questions. How might our relationship with technology evolve? What does it mean to be human in a world increasingly populated by intelligent machines?
Big questions for sure, and ones we'll need to keep grappling with as technology continues to advance. For now, though, I guess we'll have to keep dreaming about those robot butlers and all the possibilities they hold. Thanks for diving into this with me. It's been fascinating.
Anytime. Always happy to talk robots.